So the dudette got a rare look at my notes for today's program and asked, bandwagoneering? Dude, is that even a word? So I told her, yes, in my world it is. And I think the dictionary definition says it refers to the action of aligning oneself with an activity or a cause that's fashionable, that's popular, or that is gaining attention and increasing support. So I thought, sounds like JKD, and she agreed. So we'll examine that a little bit today. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 158. This is the one about Jeet Kune Do bandwagoneering. So as you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the final edit video over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, visit jkdrebel.com and click on the Rebel Gear link, where you will find stuff like this. Is that not gorgeous? That is the JKD Notables hoodie. It's getting cold even here in sunny South Florida. And so over at JKD Rebel, we've got this fine garment available. T-shirt, hoodie, long sleeve t-shirt, long sleeve sweatshirt, I think. And even perhaps not in that glorious pink, but even as cold or hot beverage mug here for you. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Do that. Don't do what I did. Okay, don't be a weather idiot and sleep right under the open window just because there's a drop in temperature. Okay, you might get caught in 40-degree weather overnight, and then the next day your nose pays dearly, pays a dear price for that idiocy. So don't do that. All right, let's talk bandwagoneering. So bandwagon effect is the tendency of an individual to acquire a particular style, behavior, or attitude because everyone else is doing it. It is a phenomenon whereby the rate of uptake of beliefs, ideas, fads, trends, that rate of uptake increases with respect to the proportion of others who have already done so. So when it comes to Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune Do, one of the most recent bandwagons would be that damned ubiquitous Be Water, My Friend, which grew in outsized levels of popularity a short while ago, resulted even in a new book from the Bruce Lee Foundation, which I purchased, of course, right? So today, if you ask a younger person about Bruce Lee, you might hear a combination of things. You might hear an old idea that, oh, that's the guy that combined all the styles. We'll talk about that in a few seconds. Or sometimes you hear the newer idea of, oh, that's the guy that said, be like water. Of course, upon deeper examination, right, both of those things fall apart, right? How does anyone combine all the styles? And when pressed, a lot of people who like to use that "be water, my friend" phrase, when pressed, they are revealed to have little or no understanding of what it means at all. Now, if you've been around in JKD for a while, you'll remember that back in the old days, there weren't really JKD bandwagons as such that upon which to jump, let's say. During Bruce Lee's lifetime, if you were lucky enough, if you were lucky enough to be in the place where he was teaching, okay, well then good for you. Immediately after his passing, again, if you were in one of the three places where his assistants were teaching, then you were again in luck. The bandwagoneering effect, that kind of started when word about JKD availability, right? The availability of instruction in JKD, when that word started to spread. At one point, it was camps, martial art camps like Aspen Academy. right? So the camp started to spring up, and people were able to go get training in these locations. And then different JKD instructors started traveling around the world to conduct seminars. And so you had other instructors who were not doing that, but they had their opinions on what was being showcased, what was being taught as Jeet Kune Do. And so ultimately they too entered into what became the fray over Jeet Kune Do in instruction. So what were some of the JKD bandwagons? Let me see if I can pull up that graphic that I know you guys love my creativity with the graphics and what have you, right? Sure. All right, so let's see if I can pull up this image from the postcard. Let's see. Okay, so you might not be able to read it because, of course, I don't have a big enough sign. So I tried to take a look at the bandwagons in chronological order, but it's not really possible to do that because they're kind of intertwined. But the most famous bandwagon is probably the original Jeet Kune Do versus the original Jeet Kune Do and the Jeet Kune Do concepts models. For the most part, these models seem to have been retired and maybe even taken out of production. But occasionally, you might still come across one of them out there in the streets, still in good operating condition and in a state of good repair. So that's the original JKD and the JKD concepts bandwagon. If you noticed, there's a bandwagon called classical Jeet Kune Do versus in the 20th century. And that's a bandwagon that only the most avid readers of perhaps 1980s, 1990s Inside Kung Fu magazine, that's a bandwagon that those people would be aware of. Another bandwagon was the Jun Fan Kung Fu versus Jeet Kune Do. I'm sure you've seen that bandwagon. Have you heard this? So this is the bandwagon that says that Jun Fan Kung Fu is the art and Jeet Kune Do is the philosophy. And apparently that is a model that has thrived and persisted. My good friend Zayn Isaacs told me a story about at an MMA competition in regards to their JKD fighter. The opposition said, we don't have to worry about this guy. We don't have to worry about this fighter because his JKD is just a philosophy and not really a fighting style. So that's how deeply this bandwagon may have infected some people's ideas. One of the other bandwagons was the Jeet Kune Do versus the Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do. So I think the name for Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do is something that came out of the Bruce Lee Foundation in the 1990s. My understanding is that was more, I guess, to more accurately identify Bruce Lee's art. Totally unnecessary move, in my opinion. But it's a bandwagon. Now, this bandwagon, I kind of messed up. I called it Wing Chun Kung Fu versus modified Wing Chun versus Jun Fan. Instead, it's more like, I messed up on that one because this one was born out of the idea that if Bruce Lee had really learned the true Wing Chun, then he would never have had to create anything else. That's the actual bandwagon. That's an interesting one. I'll say a little bit more about that in a second. I think it was sometime in 2004 when I looked it up. So Dana White, the president of the UFC, he nicknamed Bruce Lee the father of mixed martial arts. And so that led to the conclusion that JKD was one of those hybrid systems that blended the best techniques from other styles, right? So you see how that, from him saying that in 2004, 16 years later, people still carry that idea that Bruce Lee created a hybrid system, that Bruce Lee was one of the first people to combine all the styles. You'll even hear the venerated Joe Rogan say something like that. 4 years later, after that Dana White proclamation, the first Ip Man movie appeared, and that brought a lot of attention to Bruce Lee's formative art and to Bruce Lee. By this time, more people were aware that Bruce Lee had never fought in any martial arts competition, so he didn't have a fight record, as they like to call it. So what was this garbage, father of MMA thing? And since some of those people, they don't know how to think past yesterday or how to consider complementary or even contrasting points of view. So they theorized that Bruce Lee, so this is another bandwagon that people jumped on, was the theory that Bruce Lee was just an actor. He was therefore only all about show, and that any of the people who follow Bruce Lee, then they are just sycophants, or what they call on the internet fanboys, I think, right? Because some people cannot, they don't get the idea that there's a difference between jumping on a bandwagon and deciding to follow a person because of that person's proven knowledge or proven ability, even if it's not evident in your world. So by all means, if you must, go ahead and pick a side, which is different from jumping on a bandwagon, because when you pick a side, you make sure you pick a side after you've done your, to coin the phrase, due diligence. And you're not doing it because a bunch of other people are doing it, because people that you may admire, they're doing it, or it's their opinion, so it becomes your opinion, right? It sounds good to you. You do it because you've investigated the issue yourself, and now you've arrived at a conclusion, and so you've made a choice. Okay, that's it from me. All stuffy nosed and what have you. Feel free, share, like, and comment, ask questions. I will review everything, probably not until tomorrow. I'm going to teach a 7 o'clock Zoom class, and then I am going to bed. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook, and also sign up for notifications for when we post the final edit video over on the YouTube. And when you're over there, please hit the notification bell and subscribe to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast channel, and also to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues channel. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods, talking about Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. Coming up on Friday, December 11th, will be episode with Kevin Lee of the Francis Fong Academy. And we're both on the East Coast, so that should be at the regular 6 p.m. on Friday, December 11th. Today, covered up by the sweatshirt, of course. It's a purple shirt. Purple day, sorry. Right? I'm totally out of it, but I appreciate you guys showing up. And so I'll see some of you on Friday. Hopefully my nose will be in better operation. And if not, I'll see some of you next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk soon.